In this video, we're going to take a look at Thrive Architect, the new release from the team at Thrive. It's an awesome way to create website posts and pages, even if you are not a developer. So let's jump right in. All right, so this is Thrive Architect, released just yesterday. Really cool upgrade to the Thrive Content Builder. They've fixed a lot of issues that I was really struggling with on the Thrive Content Builder. They've made this way better, easier to use, far more powerful, and I'm going to show you quickly why this is so great, how easy it is to use, and how you can apply it to your content, to your website, to your pages, to build websites, or just to make your blog posts better. So the first thing I've done is to create a simple blog post here. If we scroll up, you'll see my header. This is just an empty WordPress theme. And then the main title of the blog post, which is the Hello World blog post that WordPress installs. And then I've gone into the Thrive Architect editor and started adding content, just like you would a normal blog post. So you've got headings and text, very simple. But what I want to show you is that just with Thrive Content Builder, and if you're not familiar with Thrive Content Builder, this is why I want to highlight this, you can actually start adding page builder elements to your blog posts to make your blog posts look better, format better, be more interesting, be more readable and consumable. And that's basically why Thrive is so cool. Most page builders usually only apply to pages. So with Thrive Content Builder and now Thrive Architect, you can apply all of these elements within the main panel where you would edit either a page or a post as well. So what I've done here is I've added a colored block with a white heading instead of the standard black heading you see at the top. And you can completely edit this. You can add a border, you can add text shadow, you can add more content, pictures, whatever, but I just wanted a simple heading here. Then we've got more text. Then we've got a testimonial, and you can completely edit every single element in the testimonial. In previous versions of this editor in the Thrive Content Builder, you were kind of stuck with layouts and elements. You couldn't edit certain things, they were fixed. Now what they've done is broken everything out into small little elements, so you can completely edit and change. You can just use this as a template and completely change it. So if I wanted to make it 50-50, I can move this across. You couldn't do that before, it was just stuck. If you want to move the quote to the left or to the right, you can do that. You can add in some padding. So you can move that across, you can change the color of the icon, etc. You can do absolutely everything with this editor. So that's within a blog post. You can pretty much create fully customized content within your posts, and you can save some of it as templates if you want to reuse it within blog posts. If you have a podcast, you can create a podcast template, reuse that every time you release a new podcast or a review or whatever. You can save elements, you can save complete layouts, you can categorize those into sections so you can find them more easily if you have tons of them. In Thrive Content Builder, they used to be lists. Now it's just within categories, so it's really cool. So that's a post. You can make a simple post. You can make a normal WordPress post in the normal WordPress editor if you want. That's completely optional. Or you can use the really cool builder. And the massive problem they have solved with this editor, which only a couple of the editors on the market can do, is if you turn the plugin off or delete it and move away from it in the future, this content will still appear on your page. It won't appear as garbage, which is what normally happens with such builders. You have what's called shortcodes, and with shortcodes it's a bunch of square brackets with code in it, and it looks horrible, and you have to go and redo all your pages and posts. Now with Thrive Architect, it won't look as good anymore because you've removed all the formatting and everything, but you'll still be able to read it and it'll still be more or less correct. So they've really done a great thing in solving that particular problem. So this is just a post, and the other thing that I've done is to create a quick demonstration of a page. I just whipped up this home page style page to show what's possible. There's really a bunch of different elements here. full width sections, you've got columns, you can completely edit the width of the columns, you can use the preset columns, quarters, thirds, etc. You can completely customize it, you can drag and drop things in to create new columns on the fly. So if I bring in a copy of this element and drag it to the right, and I'm having trouble dragging because they've changed the way dragging works to grab this little cross. So if I move it to the right, I now get a fourth column next to that particular element. So you can make columns within columns, etc. It's really, really flexible, or you can just leave it really simple and use what they provide you as well. So don't be scared by the flexibility. It's really flexible, but it's also really easy to use. And to just show you how easy it is to edit things, every single element that you click on becomes copyable and deletable in the top right, draggable in the center, so you can move things around, and the blue line shows you where you're moving it to, between elements, after elements, on top of elements. So we can move that heading up or down, so forth. And when you click on it, all the editing options move to the left on the left-hand panel, except for a couple for text. Plain text has left, right, center, and bold, italic still on the element, which is a bit weird. I find that a bit strange. I don't know why they haven't just kept everything on the left, but every other element, all the options are on the left. And there's a ton of options. Almost anything you can do on a website. If you're a developer, you would know CSS. CSS gives you the option to customize elements, widths, paddings, colors, shadows, rounding, formatting, layout, everything. Before in Thrive Content Builder, and in most builders that I've encountered, you can't adjust all of this stuff. You have to go into the code, you have to get a developer, which is what I normally do. I develop for my clients. You have to go into the back end, edit the CSS, and you can't get at a lot of these particular things unless you know what you're doing. Now you can edit all of them pretty much. I haven't found any yet that I haven't been able to edit. You can edit everything about every element completely. So it's a little bit intimidating in that sense, but at the same time, really, really, really flexible. You can add padding, you can add shadows, you can add rounding. So these round sections here are actually square with rounding. If I go down to the bottom and show you the rounding is 100 here, if we remove the rounding, you'll see it becomes a square again. So we can make circles by making big roundings. Really, really cool. You can add icons, you can change fonts, you can use custom fonts, Google fonts. It automatically uses your theme fonts, but if you want to overwrite those with Google fonts, I don't recommend you go too crazy with it. But they've made that really, really cool. So what they've done is basically taken the Thrive Content Builder, taken all the elements of the Thrive Content Builder, and made the editor a lot more flexible, a lot more powerful, giving you access to all the CSS options that you would get as a developer in the actual editor on the left-hand side. So if we scroll down to the bottom here, you'll see some more elements that you might be familiar with. From Thrive, you've got the map, and I think I did it on another page here. We've also got the timer and the credit card and the testimonial. And as I said, you can fully format the testimonial now. They've only given 2 options, which I thought was a bit weird at first, but now I realize that actually they've given 2 options for the testimonial, but you can completely customize the testimonial. So you can change the formatting, you can change the picture, you can move the picture onto the other side if you don't like it on the left. And there's my problem with the drag again. You can move it to the right, and you can get rid of that column that was there before and change the width of this column, move the text down, for example. Let's put some margin at the top there to fix the text. Obviously, when you're moving stuff around, the formatting can get a little bit screwed up. But once you've set up a testimonial format that you like, you can go in and you can save that as a template. And I saw that somewhere, that's right down the bottom here. You can add classes and IDs, which is a CSS thing, so that you can use custom CSS, or you can save this as a template, give it a name, testimonial 1, And you can also add it to a category within a template. So you can create categories, use categories. So if you have a whole bunch of testimonial styles, you can save that, add as a category, save. And then when you reuse this and bring it in later, you can bring that in from a template. So you bring in a content template, and then you choose the template, and then you can say testimonial in here, or you can search for them. Other things that really used to annoy me were list elements. List elements used to be really restrictive. You could only use 5 types of list elements. I think it was ticks, crosses, circles, and a bunch of other things. Now you can actually customize completely all of the elements on the list. So if I want to put planes as my list elements, there you go, I have planes. You can change the color of the icons, which before was really difficult to do. It was restricted to 5 or 6 colors. You can completely customize the layout of these icons, how many icons, the spacing of the icons, everything. The size of the icon itself. So what they've done, as I've said, is they've made every single part of every single element customizable, and you can change the layout, the color, the sizing, the spacing. So it's really, really cool. And then, as I said, you can save these as templates and reuse them over and over and over again. And one last really important thing that the guys have done here, which is really cool, is given you the ability to test on 3 different size screens. So you've got PC, laptop size, you've got tablet size, and you've got phone size. So if you scroll right down to the bottom of the editing panel and click this little desktop icon here, you can test what a tablet would look like. And then you can scroll within that smaller panel and see what has happened to your content. And obviously some of the formatting gets screwed up. That's actually one of the biggest problems with websites these days, is they need to adapt to all kinds of sizes. So what the guys are doing here is they're giving you the 3 most optimal sizes for tablets, phones, and PCs, and allowing you to test all of your designs in those. And what you can do is you can fix up any problems you see here and apply them to this particular view. And when you apply them to this particular view, it applies to this view and smaller views. So that means that when you're working on the main view, everything you do applies to every view. When you're working on the tablet view, it also applies to the phone view. And if you work on the phone view to customize it even further, so let's open up the phone view, which is even narrower. Anything you do here only applies on the phone view and smaller phones. So that's really cool. You're restricting the changes that you're making. So if I make the headings smaller here, which I need to do because they look horrible, if I change the font here to make that look decent on a phone and also on that one, and then I save it, I've changed the font to 23 here. If I now go back to PC, it'll still be 60. Still the same as it was before. But when I'm on a phone, it'll be smaller because it needs to adapt. So that's really cool. You can preview and fix the issues with the different sizes for mobile responsive testing and viewing within the editor. And that is really, really cool because only a few editors that I've seen allow you to do that well. And you can also hide specific things on specific views. There's actually an option here somewhere, I can't remember where it is, in one of the panels, where you can turn things off for particular views, mobile or tablet, because sometimes the elements, you just don't want them to appear on certain views because they're just too big, they're not useful. Opt-in forms might not be really usable on a mobile, etc. So that's really, really, really cool. So this is really powerful. If you're interested in this, after the 29th of August, it's available to the public. Before that, you can upgrade to this, although I recommend you wait a little bit till all the bugs are ironed out because it's literally only just been released, and with any software there will be some bugs. So I recommend you wait. They're rolling this out across the Thrive portfolio. So as an editor, you always get the Thrive Content Builder within all their other plugins to edit the actual things you're creating, testimonials or opt-in boxes or whatever. So what they're doing is they're rolling out this editor across the platform. So if you have other Thrive elements in your, or Thrive plugins in your setup, again, potentially wait to update your plugins for a few more weeks until everything is solid and all the bugs are ironed out. But once that's done, go crazy, or just download this in beta version, go into your login on Thrive Themes and download it and try it on a test website like I've done, and you'll find that it's really, really impressive. It takes a few minutes to get used to the layout and where everything is and how it works, but once you do, it's absolutely insane, and I'm super excited to use this on some client websites because it has opened up the possibilities for me like crazy. So there you go, there's Thrive Architect, which, as I've said, you can use within pages and posts, and if you turn the plugin off at a later date, no problem, all of your content is saved. And they also still have the Thrive landing pages included, which means you can build custom landing pages from pre-made templates that they have. So that's also really cool. So check it out, and if you like this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up or subscribe to the page. I'm always putting more content up, more SEO or WordPress content, and I'll see you in the next video.